Kyoto, just after dusk. The lanterns along the narrow stone path flicker as if they're breathing, expanding and softening in the cool evening air. And in front of a small wooden house overlooking the Kamo River, an elderly man named Ren closes the sliding door behind him. He's 74, yet he moves with the kind of unhurried grace most people lose by their 40s. His shoulders settle naturally, his breath is quiet, his mind calmer than the river itself. What makes Ren unusual isn't his age, it's his nights. While most people toss and turn, trapped in shallow rest, Ren falls into deep, restoring sleep within minutes. Not the kind that leaves you groggy, the kind that rebuilds you, physically, mentally, hormonally, the kind of sleep most adults haven't experienced in decades. His neighbors think he's lucky. His doctor once said he must have excellent sleep genetics. But Ren knows better. Every evening, just before bed, he practices a 3-minute ritual his father taught him when he was young, a ritual the Japanese elders believed could clear the pathways of the breath before sleep. Today, neuroscientists agree this practice doesn't just relax the body, it triggers the biological shift required for true recovery. And tonight, I'm going to show you that ritual. But before you learn the method, you need to understand something most people never realize. You don't fail to sleep because you're tired. You fail to sleep because your nervous system refuses to let go. Modern life pushes your breath into your upper chest, fast, shallow, tight. All day long, your body is bracing, preparing, defending. And the moment you lie down at night, that state doesn't magically disappear. Your nervous system stays wired, your diaphragm stiffens, your breath becomes jagged. And deep sleep, the kind that repairs tissue, balances hormones, and restores emotional resilience, becomes almost impossible. Stanford researchers show that when the diaphragm is tight, the brain interprets it as a signal of danger. Nighttime cortisol rises, heart rate stays elevated, and your brain remains stuck in a light, fragile sleep cycle that leaves you waking up tired. This is why your mind races when the lights go out, why your chest feels heavy, why you wake up more exhausted than when you went to bed. Your breath is sending mixed signals.
But Ren? He learned what the elders knew long before science could measure it. Before sleep, the breath must come home, back to the body's center, the place the Japanese call the tanden, the deep source of stability beneath the navel. Because when the breath settles there, something remarkable happens. Mechanoreceptors in the diaphragm stretch. Signals travel up the vagus nerve. The brainstem receives the message, it is safe to enter repair mode. In that moment, the entire internal landscape changes. Heart rate slows, inflammation drops, the emotional brain quiets, and the body begins preparing for deep recovery, the kind that doesn't happen during meditation, naps, or even the first phases of sleep. Ren didn't know the neuroscience when he was young. He only knew how he felt. He remembered lying awake night after night as a boy, unable to shut down. His father, a gentleman with hands calloused by years of carving bamboo, noticed. One evening, he sat beside Ren, placed a hand on the boy's lower abdomen, and said, "Your breath is floating too high. Bring it here, and your body will sleep." For a child, it sounded like a riddle. But the moment Ren tried it, something shifted. His body softened, his mind loosened, and for the first time, he drifted into a sleep that felt like falling into warm water. Years later, through stress, work, heartbreak, and aging, the ritual stayed with him. 3 minutes, every night, a return to himself. And now, as he stands outside under the soft glow of lanterns preparing for bed, he performs the same motion he has done for decades. His hand moves to his lower abdomen, his breath descends, his nervous system unwinds. And this, right here, is where your own transformation will begin. When you're ready, I'll guide you step by step into the 3-minute Tanden technique Ren uses each night and show you what begins to change in your body in the first night, the first week, and the first month. If you're finding this story interesting so far, remember to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this ritual. Ren steps inside his small wooden room, lit only by the faint orange glow of a single lantern. The sounds of Kyoto at night, distant footsteps, a cicada's final call, the hush of the river, fade into the background as he kneels gently onto a thin tatami mat. This is where his day ends, where his recovery begins. And tonight, it's where yours will begin too. The 3-minute Tanden technique is deceptively simple, not because it's easy, but because the body already knows how to do it. It's wired for this. It's just forgotten. Most people think deep recovery requires a perfect nighttime routine, supplements, a cold room, or hours of unwinding. But the nervous system doesn't need hours. It needs direction. It needs a signal strong enough to shift it out of vigilance and into restoration. That signal comes from one place, your lower abdomen, your Tanden. Ren lowers himself into a comfortable seated position, spine relaxed but upright. His hand rests lightly over the soft space, 2 fingers below his navel, not pressing, not forcing, simply reminding the breath where to go. And as he settles, something inside him slows, as if his entire body begins listening. You don't need to mimic his posture exactly. Sit on your bed, lean against your headboard, lie on your back. Your position doesn't matter. What matters is where the breath moves. So here's how the ritual works, quietly, gently, without strain. Ren inhales through his nose, but the air does not rise into his chest. Instead, he guides it downward, toward the hand resting on his lower abdomen. His belly expands softly, like a wave lifting toward the shore. Deep inside, the diaphragm stretches, a motion most adults haven't felt in years. Within 10 seconds, the vagus nerve begins responding. Then he pauses, not holding his breath, not clenching, simply allowing the inhale to settle. This soft pause increases CO2 tolerance, and CO2 tolerance is the key to a calm, stable nervous system. People who can't fall asleep, they often have low tolerance. Their body interprets even slight increases in CO2 as danger, triggering a stress response that keeps the mind alert. This pause retrains that reaction. Finally, Ren exhales, slowly, smoothly through his mouth, as if fogging up a mirror. This is where the magic happens, because the long exhale switches off sympathetic activation. It tells the heart to slow. It signals the mind to release control. It invites the entire system to surrender. He repeats, 1 cycle, 2, 3. Each breath slightly longer than the last. But the technique is not about the count, it's about the descent. With each inhale, the breath roots deeper into the Tanden. With each exhale, the tension drains from the chest, neck, jaw, and mind. Within 1 minute, Ren's nervous system begins its shift into parasympathetic dominance, the biological state required for deep recovery. Within 2 minutes, his heart rate variability improves, his cortisol begins to fall, his digestive system prepares to repair itself overnight, and his emotional brain, the part that holds worry, fear, and looping thoughts, becomes quiet enough to release its grip. By the 3rd minute, the body is no longer preparing for sleep, it is already entering it. And here's what begins happening inside you, even if you don't feel it immediately. On the first night, the breath begins relearning its natural pathway downward. You'll notice your chest softening, your mind slowing, your jaw unclenching. Many people fall asleep mid-breath without realizing it. And if you stay awake through the full 3 minutes, that's fine. Your nervous system has already received the signal. By the third night, the diaphragm starts to loosen. Dreams become deeper. Nighttime awakenings decrease, and the first layer of accumulated tension begins dissolving. By the end of the first week, your recovery window finally opens. Your body repairs quicker, inflammation drops, mental clarity improves. You wake up feeling slightly more charged, a sign that your system is no longer leaking energy through chronic stress patterns. By week 2, the shift becomes undeniable. Your breath naturally begins descending without effort. You fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up with a steadier mood. People describe this stage with one word: ease. By day 21, the deep nervous system retraining is well underway. Chest breathing becomes unfamiliar. Racing thoughts fade quickly. You sleep like someone whose body trusts the night again. And by day 30, the transformation is no longer about sleep. It's about who you become. Your baseline changes. Your emotional thresholds rise. Stress hits softer. Recovery becomes your default state. This is why the Japanese elders said, "When the breath settles in the Tanden, the spirit returns to rest." Ren finishes his final exhale. The lantern beside him flickers. He stands, moves to his bed, and lies down with the kind of quiet presence only someone who has practiced peace can hold. Within seconds, his breath slows. Within minutes, he is gone. Not into shallow sleep, but into the kind that rebuilds the core of who you are. And you can experience the same shift tonight in just 3 minutes. If you found this ritual powerful, if you felt something in your body soften simply by listening, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs deeper sleep, and subscribe for weekly Japanese practices that restore your energy, clarity, and longevity. Your nights can heal you again, and it begins with one simple breath, returning home.